Right, okay, got it. Righto, can you all see my screen now?
Yes, very well.
And nothing else, no pictures of yourselves or anything like that?
No, just you and just the shared screen.
Okay, right. Well, first of all, a little bit of background. Log4OM was started by this particular team. This is myself, Lily, Daniel Pistolato, and Chuck DeGard, who unfortunately has now died on October the 11th, 2 years ago. 3 years ago now. Somebody else has now got his call sign, strangely enough, in the same town. But basically, Chuck and I had been working with Simon, HB9DRV, developing ham radio deluxe since about the year 2000, after Peter died. And then when he sold it to the Americans, midway through 2011, Chuck and I both said we would continue helping the new people who bought it, American company. And that ran through until the January, by which time we realised we were not going to be able to work with one particular guy involved with Ham Radio Deluxe. And we split. But Chuck and I had already been talking about doing something ourselves, and I knew Lely from way back. So we got in touch with Lely. He's a great programmer, coder. And he has actually got something on the stocks already, but it was very basic. It was just for his own use. So we did a bit of work on that, and eventually in January 2012, we released version 1. And we thought it was just going to be used by a few amateurs, and that would be it. The objectives of version 1 were fairly straightforward. It had to be fairly fast and easy to use. Most importantly, the security of the logged QSOs had to be ultimate, and the accuracy of call sign lookups as best we could get it. We wanted to cover awards. So very popular, and especially Chuck was interested in awards. And we wanted to integrate with external software, because a lot of these things like PSK software and so on, they're very specialized. We're good at database work, if you like. We're not specialists in decoding weak signals and so on. So we leave that to the guys who spent like 25 years developing it and integrate with those programs. And of course, you had to have cat control so it could integrate with your radio. In 2018, we started to develop version 2. The reason behind this was because the foundation, if you like, for version 1 was not intended for wide development. It didn't really expect it to become a big program. We just thought it'd be like a little app. But it was so popular, and people were asking for so many things to be added, which we couldn't add because the actual foundation was wrong. It's a bit like you put the foundations down for a bungalow, then change your mind and want to put a house on it. The foundations aren't sound enough, strong enough, or perhaps the right shape. And it's very similar in software. So that's why version 2 gave birth in 2018. And we spent a couple of years developing it and trying to retain the simplicity of version 1, but being more dynamic. And the award system in version 1 was a bit ponderous and difficult to do. So we wanted a better award system that the user could manage as well as ourselves. And a much better method of communicating with external software. We were using a thing called a communicator we developed, which was very limited, but we wanted to communicate with UDP and one or two other ways. So that needed to go in. And all in all, we were able to incorporate the facilities that we couldn't do in version 1 that everyone had been asking for. So January 2020 was the first version of version 2. And you can see a small picture of it there. So basically, as of now, we're about 10 years old. So we've been going at it for a while. Right. Show you it in action if I can. That's my my SDR running there, and let's look through them, which is taking the frequency and everything from the SDR software, and of course the usual thing with the, if I click on the cluster spots, the software will gravitate to the other frequency, and if I were to show you that, and it says change the SDR software. So this is not actually using a conventional cat control. It's using software devised by expert electronics called TCI, which has proved to be very, very good. Much better form of control of radios than it is with the conventional cat. So you can do a lot more with it. So that's how we got to where we are, such as it be. Now I think it's time for a few questions from you.
Hello, I've got a question. So this only works on Windows. Do you have any intention to produce a Mac version?
Why is that always the first question everyone asks? The answer to that is we will never ever extend it to Mac or Linux.
Okay.
That's just not going to happen.
Okay.
There are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, the libraries in Linux don't work for us with what we want to do. Secondly, Led is a born and bred Windows man, doesn't have time to develop Linux or Mac software and have to learn how to do it again, if you like. So it's we've got enough on our plate. Bear in mind, there's only two of us now, just Ellie and me as the developers. We've got a fair few alpha testers and quite a lot of beta testers, but you know, we're the only guys that are doing the work. I'm now 82 years old. I can't continue to do this forever. That is a wife and a family and a full-time job. So, you know, we have to sort of delegate our time to what's best endeavors, and extending to Mac and to Linux is just a no-no.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Ian Keith Kaiser?
Yeah, Kaiser, doesn't matter. I'll answer to anything. On the map, you've got a path there between the UK and Tobago, I would guess.
Yeah.
How does that work? Does that come off reverse beacon network or?
No, it doesn't. It initially with the cluster, if you go back to the cluster and if you just click on the spot, what happens is as we click on this spot, we want a quick look up to take us to the center of the country. Right. As it does a look up here, where you see the call sign's got in, when it finds the actual grid square, it puts it on the spot.
Right.
It works on grid square to grid square.
Right.
But the initial grid square that we look up from the cluster, and that's why sometimes you'll see the distance in the cluster isn't actually quite accurate, because you might find all the American stations are showing the same distance.
Yeah.
Though they're not in the same place. It's because we're using the center of the country, and of course America is a very big country.
Yeah.
But as soon as you do the lookup up the top here,
it'll go to the.
Then you've got the accuracy on the map, and you can see on the right-hand side here, right down to the town, and you can zoom right in.
Well, I haven't found that. I'll have to find that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Andy will agree that I'm pretty crap with computers.
Yeah. Hope you realise it goes also right into a satellite view.
Oh, right. Yeah.
As you go in closer, so you really can get right down tight. Okay. Next one.
Terry, there's a question from Fred about clusters. Fred, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, Terry. I'm used the program now for half a year, very satisfied with it. But I want to know what type of cluster server I choose. Can you recommend me how to work that?
Where are you?
I'm in Holland.
In Holland?
Yeah.
I think really, Fred, the best thing you could do would be to use the VE7CC cluster and use their software, the CC cluster software, to filter out what you don't want and what you do want.
Yeah, there's an enormous list of cluster servers, and I was advised to choose one in Holland, and it works. But
Well, I mean, I don't know if there are any in Holland. Let me have a quick look.
oh, there are several clusters in Holland.
Oh, you got the hello there. Look, which one you choose? Which one you like?
PA4JJ. That one.
That one there. There you go.
Yeah.
Fine. So just add it.
Yeah, I know how it works, but why is it a big list, and why would I choose the RW3XA instead of the PA cluster? What is my profit of it?
Well, all the clusters are basically DX-Spider clusters. They all have the same information. It's how you filter them that counts. You can choose a cluster in Nebraska, and you can filter out. You know, I only want spots which originate by spotters based in Holland, or in ITU zone 14 or CQ zone 28, or yeah.
But the information from, let's say, a Canadian server and a Dutch server, is the information the same then?
Well, not quite the same, but it's almost the same.
Okay.
All of the DX-Spider clusters carry the same information, and that's the majority of the clusters.
Okay. Right. And it is, I want to be, when I choose several clusters, 2 or 3, has no extra information for it?
If you choose 2 or 3 clusters, what you get then is sometimes you'll get some which have got missed from one cluster, there's been a hiccup or something like that, but it's sent out by another one. You'll get the full selection. And of course, because Log4OM aggregates it and doesn't duplicate, you won't get duplicate spots.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you for the answer.
Sorry, say again?
It's clear for me. Yeah, I know what to do now.
Okay, fair enough. What you might look at, Fred, before you just go for one of the clusters there, go and check out VE7CC, Victor Echo 7 Charlie Charlie.
Yeah, I got it.
And they have a bit of software called a CC User software, CC User. And what you do with that is CC User, you set up all of your filters. It's a very graphical filter mechanism. Set up all your filters and you send that information up to the VE7CC server, and then you can close down the little program CC cluster, CC User rather, and forget about it. Perhaps not use it for weeks and weeks and weeks, but every time you use the VE7CC server in Log4OM, it will know what filters you've got set.
Okay.
And it's really fun. I mean, you can say, I only want to see spots for Connecticut in America, because I'm after that state.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also got the skimmer. If you're a CW guy, you've got all the skimmer spots as well. I can't praise it too highly. It's really, really good.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, next one.
Yes, Terry, there's Bjorn, Lima Bravo 9 Echo Hotel wants to know how to import ADIF files with SOTA info.
Sorry, say again?
How to import an ADIF file with SOTA info.
Well, you can either, you want to just send your SOTA activities here?
I'm assuming that's what Bjorn means.
Bjorn. Yes, I mean that I have the new log program Harms, which I use on the SOTA top and log to my phone. And when I come back, I want to import the ADIF file with SOTA information back to Log4OM.
Okay, so what program are you making the ADIF file in?
That's called Hotel Alpha Mike Romeo Sierra.
Hamare.
What are you doing on a phone or a tablet or what?
Phone.
Okay, so you generate an ADIF file, and what do you send it to yourself? Do you?
Yeah. And also send it send it to SOTA the database. So, but I want to put it back on the Log4OM.
Okay, well, because I haven't seen the structure of that particular ADIF file, you see, all the software developers use ADIF, but they don't always use it in the same way.
Okay, yeah.
I would really need to see the file to be accurate on my answer. But basically, if it's a standard ADIF file, just go File. If you're watching my screen, File, import the ADIF and do it from here.
Yeah. But will the file or the QSO been put on then, or will it just okay, yeah.
So you repeat the question.
Yeah. Yes, I will try.
I think Bjorn's just checking that all the SOTA information goes across as well. That's the thing, Terry.
Yeah.
Well, basically, that's what I say about the file structure that software generates. You see, what happens is there is actually a field in the ADIF specification for the SOTA reference.
Yeah.
If that software is using that field, it all comes straight into Log4OM without any problems whatsoever.
Okay, yeah.
However, some of these specialized so-called SOTA programs and IOTA programs, they save the reference, the SOTA reference, in the comments field. That causes a problem because it's not in the right field.
Yeah. Yes.
The best thing you can do is to email me with an ADIF file that's been generated by that software so that I can have a look.
Yes, I will that.
Yeah. My email address is on qrz.com.
Yeah.
If you look up G4POP, Golf 4 Papa, Oscar Papa, you'll find my email address. Email your ADIF file and remind me what it's about, and I'll have a look at the file.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and the program and your help. So
No
I will
no problem.
do that.
Next.
There are no more questions on the chat.
No more questions at all.
Ooh.
I'll go home.
Terry, don't go yet.
Hello.
I have a question, but I had to log in on my phone, so I don't have access to chat.
Well, if we go for the other John first, he put his hand up first, and then we'll come back to John Holland, if that's all right. So our guitarist star, John.
John G0EWI from Chesterfield. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, John.
Hi. I've been using Log4OM for about 4 years now, and I use an FT450D with the S217. And I've always had problems integrating FLDG with WSJTX. And I'm really not sure what I'm doing wrong. I can control the frequencies and everything, go to qrz.com, but I just can't get the sort of connection with you're trying to use FLDG from within Log4OM.
So you're trying to get FLDG to connect to Log4OM?
Yes.
Okay. Well, FLDG is one on its own. It's a bit of a peculiar one. We have got full instructions in our user guide how to connect it, but you must realize that with FLDG, the frequency and mode synchronization is only one way. Right? Doesn't work two ways. Doesn't work like your radio normally does with two-way traffic. You can't click the cluster spot in Log4OM and it be replicated on your radio and FLDG and vice versa. It's only one-way traffic.
Right.
So the best thing you can really do, if you get your head around it, it's a little bit of a convoluted way of doing it. Try using FLRig.
Right.
FLRig, which is part of FLDigi.
Yeah.
And then connect to FLRig with Log4OM and connect FLDG to FLRig.
Okay.
So you've got FLRig over here, right?
Yeah.
Log4OM here, connecting to, yeah, and up here,
Yeah.
you've got FLDG, sorry, yeah, FLDG,
Yeah.
also connecting to FLRig, yeah? Use
Right.
it like as your core, and your other two programs connect in, yeah?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Got that.
Right. There are other ways of doing it, John, but they're much more difficult, like virtual serial ports and so on, but you're probably getting a mess over it, I think. Yeah. I mean, all the problems would be solved. All the problems would be solved if it wasn't open source software and we could talk to a developer and say, put UDP control into it or do something different. Then they could develop what we could connect to properly. But it's open source software. You're hundreds and hundreds of guys contributing to it, and none of them doing a cohesive job.
Right.
Thank you.
Brilliant program
Yeah.
it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking FLDG. It's a great program, but it's difficult to integrate with.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Thank you, John. And John Holland, your turn.
Hello, I've been using Log4OM for about 3 years. Absolutely love it, and thank you very much for creating it. I have two questions. One, how do I use Log4OM on multiple different laptops, but using the same log file, if you know what I mean, so that no matter what laptop I'm using, because I have different stations. I have a remote station and a home station, and I want to be able to use the same log file if I can.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 4 stations actually, but take my main 3. I've got my main station here at home. I've got one at my son's house, and I've got, when I'm out portable, I've got another station. So I've got a laptop, I've got a desktop, and I've got another desktop, and one of them's also remote. So, and they all use a common database. It's quite easy. What I do, the way I do it is I use Google Drive. So your first step is install Google Drive on each of your computers.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Google Drive, because you've got it on all 3 computers or 5 computers, it synchronizes all the time when it's connected to the internet. The files in each PC are synchronized over the internet when they have internet access. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in Log4OM, store your SQLite file, which is the database file, in Google Drive on your computer. So if it's on your main PC, store that SQLite file in the Google Drive folder somewhere. Make a folder called Log4OM if you like, or database, something like that. And then when you go to your other computers, your tablet or whatever you're using, when you go to File, New Open, to open a database, navigate to your Google Drive where you will see that same file.
Right.
Select that. Now it's integrated. I've
Excellent.
got a Windows tablet I use when I'm out portable. I've got a laptop when I'm in the car. I've got a PC at home and a PC at my son's house, and all 4 of them use one SQLite file on Google Drive.
And I think you've just probably answered my next question was, I'm also a scout leader, so I use different call signs, you know, when I'm with them. So I presume file, new database, and just make it under that call sign, and then I can just swap between them when I'm working. Is that right?
You can do, but it's not strictly necessary, because the way Log4OM works, and it works on the station call, you can have, you just change your station info in Log4OM to relevant to the call sign you're using at the time, and it will store it properly.
Okay.
But I've got to say, the business with Google Drive is all covered in our user guide.
Okay.
In there are even illustrated diagrams to show you how to do it, and there's also quite a lengthy explanation of how to use multiple call signs. I mean, I've got 2 or 3 special events call signs I use. I've got 2 personal call signs I use, and of course I've got portable as well, and mobile.
Okay.
And I'm also I'm
Well, then
also a marine mobile, so you know I've got a lot of different calls on one database.
Okay, well then I must apologize if it's in the user guide for wasting your time, because I
No, you're
couldn't
not
find
wasting.
it.
No, it's never ever a waste of time, John. Ever, never, never.
No, but I love it. I have to say, thank you so much for creating it. Yeah.
That's no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Who's next?
We've got some more on the text on chat now. Fred Branston's asked one about cross information.
Yes, thank you. John, I connected Log4OM to other databases, so QRZ, Logbook of the World, and EQSL, and it works perfectly. Yeah, I'm very satisfied with it. But the question I've got is, does it also work otherwise when some information about QRZ, is it possible to import it automatically in a Log4OM? I can put it, transfer it by the files, but isn't it possible to do that automatically?
Right, let's first cover it. To be able to import from any of the online databases, that online database must provide a way for us to do it. And generally that's called it's called an API, API.
Yeah.
Now, whereas there's some tune-up going on in the background.
I don't know.
Yeah, can everyone not speaking mute? That'd be great. And then only the speaker, and obviously Terry and myself keep the mic open. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, Fred, let's carry on. So the online database has to provide a method for us to connect and collect the information. Logbook of the World, of course, have this facility, and that works very well for download. EQSL has that facility. It works extremely well. We can download from it. There is no such facility with QRZ.com or HamQTH or QRZ, QTH, or whatever it's called, the other one. None of those three have a download facility that software developers can use. Why you would want to use it, I can't imagine, because the data that QRZ stores is so basic as to be absolutely useless for you as a logbook.
Yeah.
Only reason I could possibly think would be if you're looking at QRZ awards and you want them to be balanced on your Log4OM software as they are on the internet. But at the moment, there's nothing from QRZ to do that.
No, okay. But it's a clear answer, and thank you. I got only one other question from a friend of me, Papa Alpha 7 Romeo Alpha. He said, isn't it possible to make a file that you can see if a member, if the station is a member of a certain club?
A member of a club?
Yeah.
This is one that we've been looking at for quite some time. We've had quite a few people request this.
Yeah.
The thing is, what you're trying to do is have a data whereby you work all the members of the club and you get a certificate or whatever by working specific call signs. If you've got the club's database and you can get the list of call signs, it's very easy for you to construct that yourself because you can make an award of it. Yeah, you go to the award manager, set up an award for the Amsterdam Club Net, and you import a CSV file of their call signs and perhaps their name or perhaps their number, and then it will work like any other award.
Okay.
Yeah. The other side of it, which is what the guys are now asking for, because they never want a simple answer. They always want the more difficult route. So the simple way is you make an award, you can see if you've worked. The more difficult one is what they're requesting now is, can we have it so that when we enter the call sign, it immediately shows us that guy as a member of the club? Comes up with member of Amsterdam Amateurs or Zool Amateurs or whatever. That is something we're working on. That means we've got to have the database from that club and put that into the Log4OM software and do a search from the call sign. So it's another search from the call sign. Can be done. The problem is everybody we've asked to provide us with the data for their particular club have so far failed to provide it.
Yeah.
So if you want to come up with a CSV file of the members of the club you're talking about, let me have it. We've got something to work on.
Yeah, that's a clear answer. Thank you.
It can be done. It's not a hard job. Not a terribly hard job.
No.
But we've got to have the data to start with, Fred.
Okay.
It's a bit like saying, can we have a WWFF award? Or can we have it so that we can pick from a list and say that's the reference for SOTA? Without we can get that database from WWFF or from SOTA or from IOTA, we're stuck.
Okay, I passed the answer to my friend, and I think the answer is very clear. Thank you for that.
Okay, Fred, no problem. It's on the stocks.
Okay.
Give us some info. Yeah.
Oh, who knows? Thank you for the questions.
The next question, Terry, is from another Fred Hanscom. He asks how to answer QSL cards from the Bureau.
It's so easy, that is a piece of cake. QSL manager. Yeah. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll make it a little bit bigger just to be sure you can all see it. All right, so I'll just do a quick search and fill up. So I get a QSL card today from OZ1W. Happens to be a friend of mine. And there you can see all the QSOs I've had with him. The QSL card I get from him is for that QSO, that QSO, that QSO, and that QSO. I go received. Yes, today's date, and I just hit save. That little icon there. They're all now been marked that we've had it. It's as simple as that. I can get through about 100 cards in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Thank you. And when you've done that, how do I then print those cards, labels, whatever?
You want to print the labels? Okay.
I print straight on a card, but yes, print labels.
So you only print labels for those cards you've just received, yeah?
That's it, yeah. Your QR, I've got 200 cards from the Bureau. I've just done 200 times exactly what you showed me, which is really good.
Okay.
Now how do I pitch
what you want to
those?
do then is in label print.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make this one bigger as well if I can. I know I can't, not an expandable window. In label print, you want to pick up the date. So when it's today's date, there's a date. When you put them onto the computer, when you receive the cards, you recorded having received them today.
Today, yeah.
And you want them from that on that date. Oh no, sorry, that's not going to work. No.
From yesterday.
You come up with a funny one, yeah. Oh no, it's easier than that. Use the filters down here.
Yep.
Okay, and then QSL received. Sorry, wrong tab, that one. Received, yes. Date received, yep. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the confirmations tab of the filters.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to received, yes.
Yeah.
You can even put which way they came direct.
Yeah.
Received on that date.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a date that you actually recorded them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, refreshes and it will come up with just those that have been done on that day.
And then I just hit the print button, do I?
Then you just go on to the next thing and select the ones you want to send.
Well, all of those.
So say all of them. So select the lot.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Confirm selection.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to the next one. Now you can check each one individually.
No, thanks.
Yeah. You should be able to follow this in the user guide or in my confirmations video. I put out 3 of those. And just go through the procedure till you get to the print screen and away you go.
So can I jump that, check in every single one because I know I've typed them all in correctly and just hit print at that point?
I would suggest you do check them because quite often the address you've got recorded is not the address.
Yeah, but I'm sending them back to the QSL Bureau. I'm not posting them, am I?
Yeah. If for the by the bureau, you're only going to print the label anyway, aren't you? Not going
Exactly.
to print the address, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
just flick through them to the next print. Job done.
Okay. Yeah, good. Thank you very much. That's one of my big problems with finding a decent login program to replace the one that's been obsolete for 13 years. But it's still going strong and it's capable of being self-updated to many. Thank you anyway.
They do keep going. Just realised I lost my connection for some reason.
I take it, Fred, before you go, that when Terry talked about Google Drive, you don't need to worry about your Dropbox question.
No, that's fine. Charlie also sent me a quick chat. I mean, and that was, I invested a whole weekend in Log4OM2 to find that it wouldn't work on Dropbox. But their documentation was far less than clear and it implied it did. Anyway, so I'm very cautious about that because like you were mentioning, I've lived overseas, I travel around, I can do my log QSLing from a hotel in the Middle East as long as I can access my log files in Dropbox, which is perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, just remember, if you're out in the middle of nowhere with no internet connection, you can always connect via your phone as well.
Well, the Middle East has got quite good internet connection.
There you go.
I had fibre to the home 10 years before we even got it in the UK.
I come in with a question.
That figures for
Who was that?
Ian.
Oh, hello, Ian. Yeah, then it'd be Jerry after you.
Yeah. Right. Oh, okay. Google Log. Now, when Andy came and set this up for me, he did it so that it downloaded it to the Google logbook. It didn't do it automatically, so it's never been done since. It's right up till sometime in December. How do I set that up? I can't find it anywhere.
So I'm sorry, you've lost me. Google logbook.
QRZ.
Sorry, QRZ. Sorry.
QRZ, Terry.
Oh, QRZ. Well,
Yeah.
no, as I just said, there's no download facility from QRZ.
No, you can't do it.
Oh, well, how's it? Well, I've got my logbook in there right up until December, and then it stopped.
Well, what you can do is you can, if you go to the QRZ webpage, you can download manually an ADIF file of all of your QSOs, and then you can import that into Log4OM through the file menu.
Through the file menu, yeah.
Right.
No, Terry.
Yeah.
Right, Terry, what Ian's trying to say is every time he logs a QSO on Log4OM2, it used to log it, it used to send it up the API. He's lost the API link, so it's not sending it on to QRZ.
Oh, right. So is that because you no longer subscribe to QRZ?
No, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still with QRZ.
You're still paying the money.
Oh, that's interesting.
You won't get it unless you pay the money.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see.
That's what's happened.
I usually have standing orders set up, so I'm quite surprised at that. But never mind. I will check.
Something to have a look at, Ian.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
But let's cover the situation where you haven't paid the money for a couple of years, so it hasn't been uploading for a couple of years, right? And suddenly you now paid the money, and you want to update QRZ. Yeah. Let me show you how to do that.
Right.
Okay, so we go to the QSL manager. Yeah. You see that?
Yeah.
Select QRZ.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those that have not been sent to QRZ.com will be marked that they have not been sent. Yeah. So
okay.
if you then click select required, that's the ones you require to upload, you'll get a list like that.
Yeah.
And all you do is go to upload selected at the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Press the green up arrow.
Yeah.
And it'll upload them.
Okay. Okay, I'll check why I haven't got the money in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
If when you do that, let me just go back. Let me just show you something. This is right. If when you click that, you'll get a message in this black area here.
Yeah.
Before you close the window down, click the Save Log button and save that log to your desktop. Then you'll be able to read through it slowly and see where your errors are.
Right.
So if it doesn't upload, you'll have a whole load of text here, and you'll be able to, if you save that log to your desktop, you'll be able to comfortably read it after you shut this down, and you'll go through it and it'll say something like, password not recognized, API number wrong, call sign incorrect, incorrect case, it's uppercase instead of lowercase.
Yeah.
Yep. And it will be the answer in this piece here, this black area here will be the answer to why it didn't upload. If it uploaded successfully, it will say it's uploaded 57 QSOs successfully. Thank you very much. End of story.
Right. Okay. Thanks very much, Terry.
Terry, can I ask you one question about it?
Yeah, go on, Fred.
Yeah. Why doesn't he do it automatically? Because it works with me. I paid for QSZ.com, and within a minute, the file is put over to QSZ.com, and I find it there. So I don't need a handle to transfer it.
Sorry, you lost me, Fred. Say that again.
When you put it in the settings, you do that automatically. Within a minute, the file is put over from log to. That's right, but that's not what he was saying, Fred. He said it used to work, but it stopped. We think it stopped working because he hasn't paid his money. Yeah, that's the problem. So although it was set to do it automatically, it's failed to upload because he hasn't paid his subscription. Okay. Yeah. So I'm showing him a way to do a bulk upload for those that didn't get done. Okay, even when he didn't pay for it? Sorry, say again? If you don't pay, it is a way to transfer it? If you don't pay your XML subscription, you will not get an upload because the API won't work. Okay. Yeah, thank you. No more than you'll get a complete download of information. You'll get no grid locator. If you don't pay a subscription, you'll get just very basic information. Okay. Another question?
Yeah, I've got another one. Somebody has just asked, I'm just checking to make sure it is the last one, but somebody has just asked, how do they log? Hold on 1 second. How about logging satellite QSOs, Terry? I wish you hadn't asked that. Why? This is not my forte, so I'll try and wiggle my way through this one. Somewhere here, I've got to go satellite mode. What you do is, if you're going to work with satellite, you switch on satellite mode, and it shows your satellite mode enabled there. You choose the satellite, and the mode you were using on the satellite. Now you start logging your QSOs. Oh, right. Okay.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
Not the thing I do, but I've been led by the people who do, and they say that works, so I don't know. Next one.
Sorry, does that then count in the satellite DXCC statistics?
You'd have to ask somebody who knows about satellites. I would imagine so, because you're recording the satellite correctly, that you've worked it through a satellite, you're recording the mode and the frequency and the rest of it. So providing it qualifies for a satellite DXCC, the answer's got to be yes.
Because on that previous page where you'd got all the different bands, there's no mention of a satellite in there unless you switch the satellite mode on and then it turns up. I think in F1 stats.
In here, there's no
stats.
No, there won't be because your satellite mode's here.
Yeah, we'll switch that on. Now, if I go to the stats with the satellite mode switched on, do I see if I've worked the guy on the satellite or not before?
Well, yes, if you work the call sign, you'll see when you worked in whether it be satellite 80 meters or whatever. If the guy exists in your logbook,
just click on that stats F.
Would
you just click on that stats F1 for me so I can explain what I'm asking you?
Well, I can't test it because I've never ever.
I don't want you to test it. I want to ask you a question, but show me the stats F1 screen, please.
Because if I say I'm working a satellite on, because I don't even show 2 meters on my logbook because I don't use it. But just imagine that's 2 meters, and it's, shall we say, Ritty on the satellite, this new one, and you'd have the frequency here, then you enter a call sign, OZ1W. And if you worked the guy before, it's going to come up and say worked. And it'll tell you whether you worked in the same mode or not.
If you can you just show me that stats F1 screen, please?
This one?
Yeah. See, you've got a row of boxes there.
Yeah.
Showing all the countries.
Yeah.
So I would hope to see a column called SAT so that I can see I've worked country on the satellite.
No, we don't have that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not, satellite is not basically a single mode. Satellite's encompassed by other modes. It's either a phone mode, a CW mode, or a digi mode.
Yeah, but there is a DXCC for all contacts made by satellite, irrespective of mode.
I'm sure there is, and I can just check that for you now. But it doesn't mean we can display it here because we only display the things which are valid modes. So
as long as it tracks it somewhere, that's fine.
But we'll go to DXCC. I'm sure there'll be a satellite thing in here somewhere. Satellite. Yeah, go.
Perfect.
I've never worked satellite, so there's nothing.
Well, I'm not expecting you to have done. I'm just trying to see if I want to work satellites, it's going to show me I've worked people.
It's going to show you you've all.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
I'm sorry I'm so vague.
No. It's niche. It is niche, but it's.
Satellites are as vague to me as D-Star. Right. Next question. No.
Sorry, Terry, I'm talking away and I was muted. Is there a way to move the enter, look up and X buttons being on the far right of the screen to the left side, closer to the data enter area?
Say that again.
Right, on the right-hand side, you've got the plus sign and the cross and the look up buttons.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side. Is there any way to move those across to where you enter the actual call sign and the data or anything like that? Is there?
No, there isn't. No, I'm afraid not. It's actually in the frame.
It's in a frame, yeah.
Yeah, but of course you can if you like use the keyboard. I really use those buttons. I use the keyboard return key to enter the QSO, the escape key to clear the QSO.
Yeah, I'm just looking now to see if there's any others. There's some discussion about OmniRig 2. Yeah, just I mean, I'm aware that it's not compatible with OmniRig 2.
OmniRig 2 will not work with Log4OM, and the guy in Switzerland who's developing it, I asked him 3 years ago if he would correct something that was wrong in the program. He said, I'll do it when I come back off holiday. I'm in Bermuda now. As far as I know, he's never come back.
Oh, gosh.
And I pestered him several times to put it right, but no.
Right, okay, no problem. Right, well, I think
before anyone jumps on my neck and says, but it works in such and such a program, it may well do, but it doesn't work with our particular framework.
No. Mike, KD2SXD has said, will the contest interface be updated for better performance? Now, I don't currently use the contest interface, so I'm not quite sure how it can be updated for better performance because I've never used it. So is there any chance you can run through that, Terry, the contest interface?
Which one?
Contest interface. For contesting.
Oh, for contesting?
Yes, yes.
Well, it performs just the same as the normal program, because all you do is you click on the contest interface.
Mhm.
And sorry, first of all, you wait for it to do that. Oh. You set up your contest first of all.
Right.
Right. So if you can see this, I can't make the screen bigger, but
No, that's all right.
I'll put in there just any old contest, doesn't matter which one.
Yep.
You've got to set your date. So we're in March 21st, and it started at 000 this morning, and it's going to finish, shall we say, tomorrow, yeah, at 2300. Yeah.
Yeah.
You put in there whatever you want to put in. We'll call it Fred, and incremental numbers and the suffix Essex. And once you've done that, save it. Now that then is good for the whole contest. Yeah.
Right.
And when you go to contest, what's happened? Sorry, I think I'm trying to do too much. I'm talking on videos. Let me close some of this bloody stuff down. I've got so much stuff running here that things have slowed up.
You're doing a
Oh,
sterling
no, well,
job.
it won't go because I'm in satellite mode. Well, I don't want to know about satellites. There we go. So, how does he want to speed it up? I'm sorry, I missed the point.
No, it's just saying about better performance. I'm just looking. So he's saying
Performance in what respect?
question, speed of information. The speed of information.
Well, now what information? Look up information?
I would imagine it would be
before
look up.
information.
I would imagine it would be both, wouldn't it? On a contest, you need the information and whether you've worked them before. But I would imagine, and I'm just making a wild assumption here, that it would work in exactly the same way that Log4OM2 normally performs. Is that correct?
That's
So
correct. It's doing the same thing. But the thing you've got to remember is if you're in a contest, let's say it's one of the big contests, not a minor contest. You're in a big contest, the pressure on people like QRZ and HAM-QTH is enormous. And what happens then is it slows the online lookup down. So when we go to QRZ and say, look up OZ1W, it can't retrieve the information because QRZ has slowed down. That slows us down. So with me, I don't give a monkey's what the guy's name is, where he lives, what colour his shirt he's got on today. So I just turn off the lookup information during the contest because I know that the QRZ and HAM-QTH can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
That then speeds up the rest of my work, which is when I type a call sign in, I want to know whether it's been worked before.
Yeah, that's all I need to know.
And that will be ultra quick because it's only looking at my logbook.
Yeah.
And it's only looking at my logbook for the contacts made during the contest, not the whole logbook.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you've got QRZ lookup running and QRZ's ground to a halt because there are 1 million people trying to access it, we just sit in a queue waiting, and that slows it down.
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me, Terry. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. Yeah, no, it does make sense. On a contest, all I'm interested in is if I've worked them already. If I've worked them already, I want to just move on.
That's right. That's the main information. I don't care what colour shirt he's got.
No, yeah, no, fair one. No, I'm in agreement with that. I just want to know whether I've worked them, and that's it. Okay, right, but that's I think that is all of the questions here, unless anybody else is all the questions on chat, unless anybody wants to raise their hand, and I will endeavour to bring you in. Let me just go to the view where I can see everybody. Right, okay. Bear with me, guys.
Nothing else?
No one else? Nobody got any questions? Unmute yourself and ask the question if you've got a question. No, it seems there's no further questions.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for stopping by.
No,
hope-
thank you.
I
Thank
hope
you
you
very
found it
much.
interesting, and we'll see you again sometime.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no worries.
Yeah,
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Okay,
Thank
then.
you.
Bye for now.
Thanks, Terry.
Bye.
Have a good
Cheers.
day.